Hello and welcome back to another of my videos. This is a delayed response to the end of the semester, so just giving an update on everything. Long story short, I did complete all of my prelims and my dissertation proposal defense. I passed that, so I'm sure you'll be hearing a lot more about my dissertation. The proposal kind of didn't really end up being exactly what I think I'm going to do based on the discussion around the proposal, so I won't bother going through all the details of it. But I mean, it's along the same lines. The main new takeaway is it's kind of shifted to more of a focus on what the fact that sailors and sailing underpinned all the rest of the things going on in the 5th century, and kind of recovering that voice, those people's lives who kind of, without them, nothing of the more famous occurrences in the 5th century could have really happened for the most part. So that's kind of more the general direction of it. Still all the same basic elements, just with a little bit different focus, I suppose. Yeah, and I say this is delayed because I'm filming this now in July, even though the semester ended in May. Part of that was because I was busy finishing things up, and then once I finished them, I didn't really feel like giving an update, talking about them, things like that. So that's where I am now. Of course, for all those people in the future who are just binge watching my riveting series on my journey through my PhD program, pause here for cricket sound effect because again, I'm not bothering to edit, but that's where it would go, you know, that imaginary audience is actually just the cricket sound effect. Well, who knows? Maybe someone will be doing something with these videos later, trying to, you know, fall asleep or something, and they put me on because these videos are so exciting. But yeah, so anyhow, whether or not you actually have been waiting for an extra month or you're actually watching these all the way through, same upshot is I finished, and now moving on to the research stage, what they call ABD, all but dissertation. So going forward, probably most of my semesters will be a little less structured in terms of classes and things like that. This upcoming year, I don't have to be teaching, which is nice. So hopefully doing some research trips and things like that. Yeah, so that's just kind of the update. I did just want to say, a lot of what I figured out it boiled down to is after some of those, my dissertation proposal defense and some other things similar to that, you have the idea, basically my advisor when I was like, oh yeah, I got confused about like what to put in things, and I couldn't find anything on the website, and he was like, well, what does that tell you? And then in the moment I knew what the answer was from his perspective. He was, and I was like, oh, I guess that means I should have asked you. And he's like, yeah, that means that if there's not general direction, it means you have to look specifically at your advisor. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. But then I went away, and like, you know, a few hours later or the next day, I was like, oh, I see what I've been doing wrong the whole year. I was under the impression that there wasn't that much information posted, not because it was all super individualistic and you had to like morph it to fit with your particular advisor. I thought it was so programmatic that it went without saying. And therefore I was like, there's gotta be just like something I'm missing here. For most of the year, that's kind of how I was thinking about it. That's not how it is apparently, which, you know, is fine. Mostly it's just the main difference then that I would have, or not difference, but kind of different way that I would have liked the program to have been described to me is that it's not in fact a program. I wouldn't call it a program if it's based entirely on individual advisors and things. I mean, sure, the checkpoints are the same technically, but the meaning of those checkpoints are not the same really, in a lot of ways. So it's kind of like, I mean, I guess that's sort of similar to if you're taking classes, like a professor might have a lot more work in one class than if you take a professor with a different class, but still, I don't know. So that was my main takeaway from this year. In addition to, of course, all the things I learned about the actual history and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's a pretty good explanation of all that you really need to know from those final days. Probably better that I didn't talk in the moment as much, because it probably would have made a lot less sense and have been a lot more frustrated. But nevertheless, we got through. We're here. Yeah, I kind of took some time off in June for the most part. I have done some things. So like one piece of advice I got was to start or to write every day that you're working on your dissertation. So some of that I have been doing more just in like taking notes and kind of counting that on the side. But I have been trying to actually, even when I'm just taking notes, give a little bit more writing around the idea of like why I'm taking the note and being a little more discerning in the notes that I take. So that's kind of how that's going. So I've not done nothing since the end of the semester, but I've also been doing a lot less than I had been in the year, which is probably good, partly because doing other random things around the house that I've been putting off, picking up things, sorting things, fixing things, and also just partly taking a break, visiting family and all that sort of thing. So, and then this past week I've been a little sick, you might notice. I don't know if it comes across on the video. It's still a little stuffy, but there you have it. So end of semester 6 in the update in the middle of the summer, but there you have it. So glad that you guys could join in. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.